Alright, so unfortunately I didn't get a chance to get out of the drone today. The weather was absolutely terrible. However, what we're going to talk about is what's in my camera bag. So what's my go-to travel photography or going to jobs, that sort of thing. What sort of setup do I have and what sort of bag do I use, that sort of thing. Alright, let's dive right into it. Alright, so here it is, the Tarion Pro backpack. Now this is a very good camera bag. It does have its limitations and it is quite pricey. You can find it on Amazon. However, I've not had any sort of major issues with it. It is a bit bulky and it is quite large. It's a lot larger than it sort of looks on this camera. However, it is a good bag and it's definitely worth looking into if it's something you'd like to try out. So let's look at the lower compartment. So the lower compartment, obviously this whole bag is modular. You can change it and adapt it how you want depending on what work you're doing, all that sort of stuff. And in here right now I've got my 70 to 200. The reason why I've got that in there is just purely because I know this compartment's really well protected, it's got good padding, and it means this lens is going to be looked after. There is a quick release sort of thing going on here where you can just grab your lens, you can open this up and get into your lens fast. I never use that because I've got to take the backpack off anyway, and by the time I've done that I might as well have just opened this up and got it out. So I hardly ever use that. It's got these little memory card attachments to it, so you can put your memory cards in there. Again, it's something I don't really use, but it is there if it's something you'd like to try out. In these other compartments we can put in lenses, other attachments. Right now I've got my Sony ZV-1 just sat in there as my spare little backup camera, as well as a little mic, some little lighting equipment and other various stuff. Obviously, depending on what I'm doing, I might put my 35mm or my 50mm in here, or other sort of lenses and stuff. It's a really good little compartment, but again, you can change it to how you want it. Typically, this is the setup I'll go for if I'm doing a brand shoot or any sort of fashion work. If I'm doing travel photography, I'll always have this connected first, and then I'll have my drone just sat in here because my drone fits really well in here, so the Mavic AIR 2. I've not tried out the DJI Avata yet, I'd have to change that for this, but it works really well as a little travel photography backpack as well. On the side here we've got a little hold-all for like tripods or any other sort of accessories you want to fit in there. Just bear in mind this sort of thing, it's not very secure and things can fall out. Obviously you've got these straps to hold in a tripod, but if you're putting anything in there loose it could fall out, so just be wary of stuff like that. It's a good little compartment. As I say, it's useful and I've not had any dramas with it so far. No sort of water issues or rain getting in. It's pretty well protected, and as you can see here on the outside you've got some more straps. Again, you can use this just to secure this compartment so no one's trying to get in it, and you can also use it for connecting any sort of other stuff. I typically just put my coat or jacket or a hoodie through there just because I don't want to wear it, I'm too warm. So we've got a hard shell compartment which is absolutely fantastic and really needed. So this is like ultimate padding sort of protection. Now in here typically I'll have my lens filters, any sort of material that I need to grab fast, and in the zip compartment this is where I keep my memory cards, so it's really useful for stuff like that. Other stuff you could put in here is things like hard drives, just in case you want to protect them, make sure you don't lose all that work you've done. But it's a good compartment, and one thing is I wish that this one would have been on this as well, because these two together would have been absolutely perfect. But you get the one hard shell compartment and it's pretty solid. You get another smaller compartment here, as you can see. I'm not going to open this up too much because I know I've got a lot of stuff in here right now, but just in here, try and show you. So I've got like lens cleaning equipment, camera cleaning equipment, as well as my good old rubber gloves for when the lens filters actually get stuck. So main compartment, where the magic actually happens. So here again you've got a nice little zip sort of protection layer just to keep everything nice and down. I hardly ever use that, to be honest. It's just there as a nicety. But in here, as you can see, I've got my R3 as well as my 85 f1.4 just sat here. My 70 to 200 and this camera body fits in here just fine. It is a little bit snug right now because I've got my strap on it as well, and what I'll do is I'll use my strap just as an outer layer just to give it that extra protection. It's not too big, and again you can move stuff around, however you've just got to make it essentially work for you, but it's a good little system. We've got another sort of zip pocket here. It's up to you what you put in here really. I've got filters for my drone, I've got all sorts going on in there, just cases that need protecting, you could put your notebook in there for whatever thing you're doing or planning, that sort of thing, but just make that sort of work for whatever job you are doing. But that is the main compartment. Again, it's very, very good. And lastly, we've actually got, which is really useful, another sort of back compartment, which is pretty big. And in here, as you can see, I've got my laptop. I've also got, believe it or not, I can fit in a small little reflector, which is very, very useful if you're doing portraiture, that sort of thing. You just want to grab a reflector, I can't even say it then, reflector, to try and get that extra light. So very, very good bag, and again, it's very useful to be able to adapt and change to what you need. I typically use this for all my shoots, but there are better things out there. Just have a look around, but make sure you're not splashing too much money. Just remember, it is a backpack. However, you want something good enough that's going to protect your gear and make your life easier on the job. So as you can see here, this is the Mavic Air 2 by DJI, and this fits into the camera bag really well. Obviously I take down and take off my little joystick stick things, and then you can tuck them into there so it fits in the bag well, as well as the Mavic Air 2, which actually folds up just perfect for the bag. And I've not really got any worries with the actual propellers, because yeah, they've never been damaged in the bag or anything, so I don't actually wrap them up at all. I just literally put it in just like this. Lastly, okay, so the last bit of sort of kit that I have now is my DJI Avata, and I've actually only just got this bag. Now, a little bit let down by it, and you'll see why. So the bag itself's really, really good, really useful, and I can fit stuff in here, so a laptop, HD drives, whatever I need I can fit in there, and it's really well padded, really well protected. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could use this as a pillow. It's like really soft. In here though, so the one letdown is the goggle V2s don't actually fit. So I don't know if you can see, but I've had to cut part of the actual box open to be able to fit my goggle V2 in there, which is quite funny. But they do fit in really snug, as well as the drone here. As you can see, it fits into a little outcut, and then you've got your battery and other battery for the actual goggles themselves, as well as the control stick. So yeah, good bag. I just wish they'd have said that it was the V1 goggles that fit in here and not the V2. As you can see, I've had to sort of fit my little goggle antennas sort of alongside here, but quite a good bag. I'm not going to be able to probably fit this setup in my camera bag, so that's going to pose a problem. I'm now going to have to carry two bags if I do want to take the Avata out with me. That's something you're going to have to consider if you use a drone as well. The Mavic Air 2 fits in really well. The Avata is definitely not going to fit in there with all my camera gear. But yeah, that is my main gear, or go-to gear, that I use at the moment. So this is my spare bag. This is essentially what one of my close friends gave me. I've used it a couple of times. It is really, really good. It's a completely different system to my main bag. As you can see here, there's a lot more going on with this one. However, the one thing I'm going to say about this is it does feel a little bit more protected than the other bag. The downside is the access. It's not that easy to quickly access your lenses and all that sort of stuff. So if you're on a wedding shoot or anything like that where you need to change your lenses fast and you need to grab equipment, this bag's probably not going to be the best for you. However, even though it's not easy to access, the bag itself can fold up quite small, so if you're doing stuff like street photography or somewhere where you don't want to be as noticed, this might be a little bit of a better shout than something like this. Alright, so that is essentially everything that I have in my normal sort of setup. I'm sure some people have much better setups, better bags, that sort of thing, but right now for me that generally works. Just when you're making your camera bag or you're looking at buying a camera bag and you're trying to lay it out, just try and think about what's going to work for you. Do you need access? Do you need fast access? Do you need to be able to grab your lenses quick and change them quick? Do you need to grab your second camera body quick, switch to your film camera, that sort of thing? You need a bag that's going to support whatever sort of work you're doing. So really take your time, don't just read the reviews, make sure you try and get a hands-on look at any bag you get, especially if you're going into shops. Now shopping online you can't typically do that, but take your time, have a good look around, ask other photographers what they think if they've got the bag, and try and find the bag that best suits you. And more importantly, make sure it's a bag that protects your equipment. Whew, okay, that's daily vlog number 2 done. as I say, I'm going to try and get out with the drone this week. It's going to happen with the Avata, and you're going to see me crash my first FPV drone probably. However, alright, I'm confident that I can fly it quite well, so we'll see what we get. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.